Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to get you smart, fast, cutting through the noise.
Helping you understand what really matters.
And today, we're taking a plunge into the very long history of public administration.
Yeah, we've got a source that kind of spans millennia, really.
Right. And our mission here is to pull out the key milestones, maybe some surprising origins of, well, this essential function.
And here's a hook for you, this whole idea of public administration. It actually started before democracy really got going.
Which is pretty interesting when you think about it. Okay, let's unpack that.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? As soon as you have, like, organized groups of people, societies, you need some way to manage things.
Manage what, though?
You know, collecting resources, getting big projects done, keeping some kind of order. That basic need, it's there long before you get to democratic voting systems and all that.
So it's fundamental to just having a society function at all.
Exactly. And it immediately creates this tension, right? You need to be efficient, get the resources, but you also have to keep people, reasonably okay with it. Maintain order.
And that tension is still around today, I guess.
Absolutely. It shapes public administration constantly.
Okay, so where does our source point first? Ancient origins. Egypt.
Yeah, Egypt. Think about 3000 BCE. They had tax collectors. Very practical, very necessary.
Can't run much without resources, huh? Always comes back to taxes.
Pretty much. It shows that fiscal management is, like, perennial.
Yeah.
And then you jump over to ancient China.
Confucius.
Under Confucius, you start seeing the development of what we'd recognize as a merit-based bureaucracy.
So choosing people based on skill, not just who their dad was.
Exactly. Officials chosen more for what they knew, their abilities often tested somehow. Not just family connections. That's a huge idea for way back then.
It really is. It tells you that these core problems, organizing people, managing stuff, they're ancient problems.
Definitely. Egypt shows the money side. China brings in this idea of competence, professionalizing it, sort of.
Okay, let's fast forward a bit. Medieval times.
Right. So territories get bigger, more complex. Monarchs can't do it all themselves.
They need help.
They need help. So you see the rise of what are basically early civil servants, people whose job it is to help run the place.
Our source mentions examples like Roman road builders.
Yeah, think about the sheer logistics of that. Building all those roads without modern equipment, that's massive administration in action.
Or the mobile land revenue officers in India, managing complex farm economies.
These are real, concrete examples. It wasn't just theory. It was practical necessity as things got bigger and more complicated.
So things are getting more structured, more formal.
You see a move away from just ad hoc management towards, more structured systems. Roles become more specialized.
Okay, so this leads us to a big turning point, right? The source flags, 1854. Woodrow Wilson.
Ah, yes, Wilson's essay. That's often seen as a key moment where people started thinking of public administration as its own thing, like a field of study, maybe even a science.
What was his big idea?
His core argument, which was pretty radical then, was about separating politics from administration.
So politicians decide what to do, administrators figure out how to do it.
Basically, yeah. The idea was to make the doing part more professional, objective, efficient, run by experts, ideally not swayed by political winds day to day.
Applying rigorous principles, focusing on efficiency, I can see how that would appeal. Any downsides, though? Did people worry about creating, like, a faceless bureaucracy?
That's always a potential concern, the balance between efficiency and responsiveness or accountability.
Right.
But Wilson's focus was really on professionalization and competence.
Got it. So that really sets the stage for the modern era, which, as our source notes, is just massively shaped by technology now.
Oh, absolutely. Think e-governance.
Right, doing stuff online, which is great when it works. So using digital tech to deliver services, get information out there, makes things way more accessible for you, the user.
And then you've got even newer things like AI policy bots being discussed.
AI helping with policy, how does that work?
Well, the idea is using AI to analyze data, maybe model policy impacts, or even handle some routine implementation tasks. It raises fascinating questions about automation in government.
Definitely. And of course, we saw public administration front and center during recent crises like the COVID pandemic.
A huge test, right? Managing lockdowns, vaccine rollouts, economic support, massive, complex administrative challenges on a global scale.
It really highlights how crucial that adaptable administrative capacity is.
It does, and it forces us to ask how technology and these big global challenges are changing the actual job of public administration. Those core ideas, efficiency, effectiveness, they're still there. But the tools and the context are shifting dramatically.
So when you think about it, that next time you're, say, renewing your driver's license online, you're interacting with this system, this function that literally has roots going back thousands of years. Egyptian tax collectors, Chinese scholars, Roman engineers.
It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it, that lineage?
Yeah, it really makes you appreciate this often invisible system that underpins so much.
And how it's had to constantly adapt. It's not static at all.
Absolutely. So I guess the big takeaway is that public administration isn't just some fixed, dusty bureaucracy. It's alive, it's evolving.
Constantly changing from ancient tally marks to AI algorithms.
Right. And maybe here's a final thought for you to chew on. As tech, like AI, keeps accelerating, what might public administration even look like 100 years from now? How different could it be?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.